Hello, traders, and welcome in a new daily live analysis session brought to you by the market research team at OnePro. This is Mohanad Yaoud, the head of market research. So today we're going to have a look on the markets. What do we have basically on our economic agenda? What important news markets are waiting today? And when it comes to the technical side of markets, we are basically a bit conservative today, and we'll know why is that. So let's quickly start by having a look on the economic agenda real quick and then jump onto the charts. So starting with the economic agenda, which is for today, the 25th of January, it's just about the middle of the week. We basically still have a bank holiday in the Chinese market. So that's why since the beginning of this week, we're having lower liquidity than usual in the Asian markets. We had some data from the Australian economy regarding the CPI, and basically it still shows that the inflation figures in the Australian economy are still going a little bit higher, even higher than the expectations. When we're talking about the CPI or the Consumer Price Index on a yearly basis, the previous reading for the previous month was basically 7.3%. Expectations were a little bit higher at 7.6%. However, the actual reading was way higher than the expectations and it came around 8.4%. So this definitely means that the Australian or the Reserve Bank of Australia will still follow a interest rate hiking process or the tightening process more aggressively just to combat inflation, which is currently running at multi-year or basically multi-decade highs. So going forward, we also had some PPI figures from the British economy. It wasn't as important. And today, the key thing to watch, basically to me, is the Bank of Canada interest rate decision and monetary policy statement. This should be today released at 3 p.m. GMT time. So markets are looking for this. Expectations are that the Bank of Canada will be raising interest rates with further 25 basis points. So there are some banks which is basically starting to show some signs of easing the tightening process or slowing down the rate hikes process or steps. However, Bank of Canada is still able to, raise interest rates. Today, we are expecting interest rates to reach 4.50% or 4.5%. So another 25 basis points increase in the interest rate on the Canadian dollar is expected today. However, the key thing to watch for will be two things. First of all, if for any reason the Bank of Canada goes more aggressively than market's expectations. So let's say, for example, if they go for a 50 basis points interest rate hike, so this should be a surprise to markets. Or on the other hand, maybe stay at the same levels and stop the monetary policy cycle or tightening cycle. I believe this is a very, very low probability scenario. However, having 25 basis points is the more probable scenario. A 50 basis points is a lower probability, but it's still around on the table. And the other thing to watch for should be the press conference by the Bank of Canada today. That should be 1 hour later after the interest rate decision. And we're going to need to know what the Bank of Canada tone of voice is. I mean, are they more hawkish in the near term? Will they continue sending hawkish signals to the market that we're gonna raise interest rates further and so on, or they might be scaling down their position at the moment? And this is basically the key thing that we will be looking for during today's economic agenda. On the technical side of things, when we are talking about the charts, markets are not in the best state at the moment. So let's have a look on the technical analysis and the charts, and I'll tell you why and how to deal with the markets in the given state or in the current volatility in the market. So let's jump onto the charts right now. Starting with the US dollar index here. The overall movement on the dollar index since the 13th of January. Okay, so let's say for the past 2 weeks, it has been a total mess, a total volatility. There are times when you can see lower lows. We are having equal lows here. and we still have lower highs. So this is a pattern that you can hardly trade in because this is not a bullish nor a bearish pattern here. So it's a little bit confusing here to trade the dollar index on the short time frame. However, in order to understand what we will be looking for, we're gonna need to have a look on the higher time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, what's happening on the US dollar here? This whole sideways movement that we are talking about is basically some sort of an accumulation taking place. So after this downward move that has been extending on the dollar index since, let's say, September 2022, the dollar index has been moving lower and reaching those levels of very, very strong support, not only on the 4-hour time frame, but as well on the daily time frame. This is, to me, an interesting price level because from here we might be expecting the dollar index to go higher. So consolidating just around those levels of 101.50, let's say, is something notable for me. We should take notice of because, yeah, normally what happens is markets drop to a key support level, we then accumulate and then we start in going higher. So from here, I can say that positions, long positions, are being taken on the US dollar index slowly and over time. So to me personally, on the medium term, I'm expecting an upward move on the dollar index to the levels of 104, 105, and even maybe more on the medium term. However, on the short term, it is getting a little bit confusing on the 4-hour time frame and the 1-hour time frame because there is where um, positions are entering the market in a slow manner. We are waiting for this upward move in order to ride the upward next trend. So to me, the possible scenario during the day is basically a move higher to the levels of 102.42. This is what technical analysis suggests. However, uh, markets might be well again willing to retest the support. In all circumstances, we are looking for buy positions on the US dollar. It's not a good option to sell the US dollar at the moment. So we are looking for entry positions to the long side or going higher on the US dollar. It doesn't mean that you should buy the US dollar right now. It doesn't mean that you should sell right now because a good trader is not someone who always buys or sells, who's always engaged in trading positions either to the upside or to the downside. There are times in the market when you should buy, there are other times when you should sell, and there are other times when you should sit on your hands and just wait for the markets to do something uh, good enough for you to trade. When markets are just going in a sideways manner, volatility up and down, you should just watch, sit on side and watch the markets for a possible scenario and a high probable scenario to play out for you. So yeah, during the day, I'm personally looking at the levels of 102.42 as a possible target. However, it isn't really that high much probability scenario because a retest to the support is likely as well. So from here, we will be waiting for the the US markets to begin. We might see something like this, or we might see something like this to the levels of 102.42. Technical analysis basically suggests both. Uh, Never forget the fact that the technical analysis is not trying to predict the markets. We're not trying to predict, we're not trying to know the future uh, by any means. Technical analysis is when you try to read the price action, what's happening on the charts, to know who is in control, whether bulls or bears, and try to move with them. So you're trying to read and then react, not trying to take a step ahead of the markets. When sometimes markets are doing two opposite things, so you have bulls and you have bears, you have buying pressure, you have selling pressure, you have a sideways range that isn't as limited, you don't have a clear support or a clear resistance. So only then we can say that as per the technical analysis, anything can happen. And this is exactly when you should wait for prices to be decisive, then you should take action. And why I'm saying this is if you look on the daily time frame, we always know that as per technical analysis, When you have a candle with very long wicks or shadows to the upside and to the downside with a small body, this is basically when we call it an indecision candle. So look how many indecision candles took place here near the support. So that was the first one, another one here, another third one, fourth one here, fifth, sixth, and around seven candlesticks of indecision around the levels of support. To me, this is an indicator that on the medium term, the US dollar will be going higher. Um, However, on the short term, how you trade inside those really bad price action or indecision price action, this is where I'm telling you just stay on side on the US dollar. If you're someone who trades swing trades or on the swing, swing trading, this is maybe where you can go for a buy position. However, this should be a long-term position or a medium term. So you just place your stops below with enough room for prices to breathe, and you just have your targets around, let's say, 105.25. This is a solid 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So it's a long term or medium term, let's say, trade. It's to the long side. However, we don't do that because we trade on an intraday basis. We try to provide you with our technical analysis either through the report or the live analysis session on a daily basis. So this is why I'm telling you, yeah, just wait on side. Let's wait for markets to play out to the upside. We'll be waiting for the levels of 102.24, and I'll also be looking for a break above those levels. A new higher high would be an entry position to me on the medium term. I hope this is clear enough, and I hope I've explained enough for you why markets to me are not so good at the moment. Not only the dollar index, however, you can see the same, some sort of poor performance or poor price action taking place as well on the 1 hour time frame. The euro has been trading in a sideways range for quite some time now. We broke to the upside, and that was great. We expected a continuation of the upward trend. We had this retest, and the retest started going higher. So we respected this support pretty much brilliantly, a move higher. However, we went again lower for another retest, which to me was pretty odd. And we failed to hold above those levels. Again, we went higher. So price action is really, really volatile at the moment on the euro, just as in the dollar index. So personally, what I'll be looking for during the day is a very, very short target of around 15 or 20 pips to the downside to retest the support for the third consecutive time. Whether we will stay above the support or break down below again is something that we will be looking for during the day. Let's say this trend line might be retested. Yeah, so this trend line, that was a move to the upside, okay, an upward swing. We had a correction in a form of a three move correction or an ABC, a break higher. So we might be retesting those levels again before maybe going higher. This is very, very volatile on the 1 hour time frame. The same also goes for the daily time frame. We are still having several indecision candles here around the resistance levels. So again, if you're a swing trader, you might be looking for a short position like this from here. The stop should be above the resistance with enough room for prices to fluctuate. And your first target should be around maybe 1.05, let's say. Another solid 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. However, this should take time to play out. And yeah, if you're trading on the intraday time frames, just like me, this is where you should wait on site. The pound versus the dollar is a little bit showing more promising price action because we explained before that we have this resistance level of 1.2425 roughly. A move higher with a slowing momentum. We expected before that this is basically where we will be turning lower. And yeah, this price action taking place here is a brilliant reversal pattern. So look how this played out. So it was higher highs and higher lows. Here we had equal highs and lows. Here we started to have a lower high and a lower low. So yes, the pound has slowly changed the trend from an upward trend to a downward one. Let me show you how this gradually took place. Yeah, this is how slowly the pound reached a resistance with slowing momentum. We respected those levels. We found bearish support or bearish pressure from here, and we started moving lower uh, very, very slowly. But to me, basically, the pound is promising on the 4-hour time frame. And on the daily time frame, yeah, this is the sideways range we have been looking for. Equal highs and equal lows. Yesterday's support of 1.2312 got broken. So yeah, we are looking during the day for a move lower to the low that we reached yesterday around 1.2263, and from there we will be continuing the move lower on the pound. It seems more promising to me, not because of anything, however, because the pound has been having some very bearish momentum or very bearish indicators on the economic side. So that's why it has been pushing to the downside. The dollar yen, just again the same. We're having this upward move. It isn't as promising, so the dollar yen is something that we will be keeping on side. A part of the brilliant trades that we have had during this week, specifically yesterday, was basically the pound versus the Japanese yen. We mentioned yesterday that we are having two targets, the 160.75 and the 160.35. We were trading just about here. We had this brilliant move around 80 or 90 pips yesterday that we had. And again, this on the pound yen seems like a reversal in trend. So we were going higher with higher highs and higher lows. This is a clear lower low. We are looking here for a lower high. And yeah, we are moving lower. I think on the pound yen today, we will be targeting the levels of 159.23. That this is one of the a few trades or few opportunities in the market today. How do you know that this retracement has ended? Yeah, let's rely on the Fibonacci retracement. So from here till there, we can see how well the levels of 50% Fibonacci is successful in holding prices. We are not able to go higher. On the 30 minutes time frame, you can draw a very short upward trend line here. We are trying to break below right now. This is, to me, the entry point. Another conservative approach would be to go short after a break and a close below the last low or the 160.40, after which you can go short on the pound versus the Japanese yen, and I believe it will be a good opportunity during the day. Again, the slopey price action takes place on gold. We are having both higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, and everything is just taking place on the chart. And yeah, on the 4-hour time frame, it's definitely gonna go down. I'm saying this with I know as per technical analysis, you shouldn't be 100% sure of your technical view. However, this is one of the times I really believe that on the medium term, gold is going down. It's not going anywhere. It is just going down. However, it will take time for gold to go down and for this bearish scenario to play out, because the trend on the 4-hour time frame was going to the upside with great momentum, and right now or recently we are having this slow down of momentum. We are losing momentum to the upside on gold, and this is where you can see a bearish divergence on the gold trading, especially on the 4-hour time frame, and of course it will be there on the daily time frame. So on the medium term, I know we are going back no matter what. Okay. So we are going back lower no matter what on gold trading. However, it will just take time for it to play. Uh, and I believe a break below the 1921 is something that would be my entry position on the gold trading on the short term. One of the other great, brilliant trades that we have had yesterday is basically the US crude oil, where we mentioned that we will be having a retest to the levels of resistance, and we are expecting to reach two targets of 81 and $80.20 uh, on the 1 hour time frame. And basically, we have reached both, and it's a clear push to the downside. It's a bearish move, and I do like this downward move on the US oil. However, I'll be waiting during today for a break below 79.63, and where I'll be adding to my short positions on the US oil, and we will be having our targets just around the key support level around the 78.08. The Dow Jones is still doing pretty much nothing. We've had our targets yesterday around 33,450. We have had this retest reach our target. However, this bullish move, this bullish candlestick was a great one. However, still prices were not able to go above the previous high. So it's a clear sideways range. It's an up, down, up, down. Just follow the strategy of buy high, buy low, and sell high. So if you have a clear resistance, 33,780, and a clear support, 33,500 roughly, wait for prices on near the support. After bullish price action, go long. Wait for prices near the resistance. After bearish price action, go short. And this is how you will be playing out with the US Dow Jones in the meantime. Whether you're willing to trade during the day or not, please make sure that you stick to your money management and risk management tools. Make sure that you never go higher or with more leverage or a bigger position size than your account can tolerate, because in the tiniest of moves during this sideways market is when you might be losing all of your money. So please make sure to maintain and control your risk to the minimum, because when markets are good and when things are going fine and as per the technical analysis and as per our expectations, this is when I'll tell you, yeah, go short, go long, yeah, do this, do that, because markets are good. However, when markets are not that good, I'm here to tell you, please be aware. Please keep your position or your lot size to the minimum as much as possible, and please stick to your stop loss during the day to avoid big losses. That was all for today's daily market analysis video. Thank you so much for watching this. We will meet up again during tomorrow's live session. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe.